Learning curve. Whew. Hi guys and gals. It's Rick Beresford again. We're going to talk about songwriting today. Again. Today we're going to talk about characters and character development and the difference between first, second, and third person and objects, and just see what we come up with. But first, I'd like to go over a little, just a little summary of what we're doing. Oh, I guess the first thing I need to do is wait for some people to get online. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's wait for some people to get on here. Let me move this over a little, see if I can make this a little smaller. I'm still learning how to manipulate all this stuff. It's kind of complicated, and so I'm still kind of struggling a little bit here. There we go. Okay, and now we're going to go to the bottom and just see. I'll be right back. Don't go away. Hi, neighbor. It's a nice name in the neighborhood. Would you like to be my songwriting partner? I know I would. Let's see, how we got any people coming in here yet? Okay. Big Mike in the house. Hey, Big Mike. What's up? Hey, man, I'm doing good. All right. Keep up the good work alongside Brett. Okay, I will try to do that. All right, there we go. It's now hosting. Good, good. All right, with 0 viewers. Let's get some more viewers in here. While you're doing that, I'm going to print out a Word document. Let's see. Let's go here. Let's go here. Character outline. Okay. And we're going to say print that. And I believe it will. Print. Here it goes. Okay, good. Good. Okay, we're going to go back to this. Here we are. Yeah. Good. Waiting for things to print here. And waiting for people to come and join us. Let's see. I guess we should start. First of all, I'm going to talk about just basically there's 10 songwriting elements. All right, and of those 10, the one that we're going to concentrate on today is lyric elements. The lyric elements consist of 4 elements. There's physical writing, emotional writing, symbolic writing, and conclusive writing. Okay? Now today, we're going to concentrate on physical writing. All right? That's in the real world, right? We're going to talk about what's in the real world. Let me see if you can see this. Can you see this? Yes, you can. All right. I can show you a little of that, and then when you rewind it, you can stop the tape and read that. But what we're going to talk about is the physical elements, and what that means is the actual real world, not emotions, not symbols, and not conclusions, but actually the real world. And the way I say it is, the song pivots around these physical elements. Pivot, P-I-V-O-T-S, right? This is how you remember all the different physical elements, right? All right. So P stands for the person or the character, which we're going to dive deep into today, right? We're going to talk about the different, the difference between me, you, he, she, they, etc. The I stands for information, which means descriptions, actions, and conversations. That's descriptions, actions, and conversations. That's the information of the physical elements, all right? So we've got the person, we've got their information, which consists of descriptions, actions, and conversations. And then we've got the voice. What voice we're going to be talking in. We have four voices we can talk in. When you're writing a story, you're going to more than likely be talking in what we call live dialogue. Now, let me give you all the different kinds so we can compare them. There's live dialogue, there's inner dialogue, there's deep reflective, and then there's minimal. And I'll put this up here. You can see that. All right. Now, the difference between all these is this. Live dialogue needs to sound spontaneous, okay? So it sounds as if we're just talking to someone live, that we're not thinking that deeply before we talk. We're just spontaneously talking. So because of that, we don't want to get too symbolic, because obviously when we're writing a song, we have all the time in the world to write it, right? We can sit down and we can take days, weeks, months, even years to write a song. But when we're having a live dialogue with our listener, it has to sound like it just came off the top of our head, right? So you're just having a real conversation with the listener, all right? So the danger there is, because we're actually not talking live while we're composing the song, we can accidentally start sort of pontificating a little and getting into metaphors and symbols and all big conclusions. But that doesn't sound actually real. So you throw the listener off by sounding not spontaneous. So we want to stay, if we're writing a story and we're talking spontaneously to the audience, we want to make sure all our verses sound spontaneous. So not that much symbolic writing, not too much emotional writing, although we can do that if it's coming off the top of our head, right? We save the more emotional stuff and the conclusive stuff for the chorus, right? Now, the next category is what we call inner dialogue. That's when we're thinking to somebody. So, like the song, look at us, baby, up all night, tearing our love apart. Aren't we the same two people who lived through years in the dark? Oh. But every time I turn around to say, something tells me turn around and stay, but I can't tell you why. All right, he's thinking to the girl lying next to him or sitting next to us. He's not actually talking really to her. He's thinking these things because he's thinking to him. He's looking at her and thinking, look at us. We're up all night tearing our love apart. Aren't we the same two people who lived through years in the dark? So you notice that there's years in the dark, which is a symbol. So when you're having an inner dialogue with the other character in the song, you can be a little bit more symbolic, right? Just a little bit more, and it'll sound real. And then, of course, the third category we have is deep reflection, reflective writing. And that is very detached and composed, and it can be done over time. And so we don't have to sound spontaneous at all. We can be very poetic, using lots of symbolic writing, right? Like The River, or like Sledgehammer by Peter Gabriel, The River by Garth Brooks. So we can really get deep into it. And usually we want to let the audience know on the first couple of lines where we are, like we're speaking live today on this song. So we want it to sound like, once upon a time there was a boy, and he's playing in the front yard, and he's got his toy dinosaur and blah, 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 whatever. So we want it to sound real. At any rate, moving on now. Oh, the thing about deep reflective writing is I always like to make sure when I get abstract that I have an anchor line, a line that brings you back to a grounding line. And it often is the title, okay? It's often the title, right? Next, okay, that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. We got live dialogue, inner dialogue, deep reflection. And the last, which is one that I kind of added in, which I think is really important to know, to have in your toolkit, is what I call minimalist writing. And that's when you've got a song that is stripped down to the raw basics, the absolute raw basics. It's just simplified down and stripped down to just the absolute minimal that you want to say. The elements of this are very, very simple, very daring and cool, to easy to remember because so few words come out, right? Very easy to remember. This is a great exercise, and I love to write over simple lyrics. It's a great exercise in effective repetition and emotional music, right? When we look at the examples today, we're gonna talk about one of those, right? There might even be two in our list. We're gonna have a list of the different characters, all right? But first, I wanted to just get you through some of the what physical writing is, right? Okay, so we have, so those are the different voices that we can write in. Next is, and we're talking about pivotal, right? These, remember we talked about that the song pivots around these physical elements, right? So we have P, person, I, information, PIV, voices. Now we have O, which is the occasion, right? So we're going to pivot around the occasion, which I mean by that is the setting, right? So we have people with their descriptions, actions, and conversations. We're going to choose a voice. In this case, if we're going to stay in the real world, we're going to pick the voice of live conversation. At the most, we're going to go maybe inner conversation, but we're going to stay live today just to see what it's like to write in that sort of spontaneous way. And now we have occasion. We have the setting. So people, setting, and we can have single settings. We can have multiple settings. We can also have moving, like you can be in a train or in a car, moving, like 6 days on the road, right? Okay? And of course, if we're writing an emotional song, we can have no setting at all. But we're not going to do that today. But I just wanted to tell you that we have that option. As far as occasion, you can have one or not, right? Okay. And the next one, T, P-I-V-O-T. T is one of the greatest tricks you'll ever have in songwriting. And we talk about this a lot. T stands for time. So we've got characters, place, and time. Now, time is absolutely fantastic. Right? Time is one of the greatest songwriter tricks that you could ever use, because you have so much to use with time. You can use the past. You can use the present. You can use the future. You can use the ongoing present. And what songwriters know that the average person doesn't know is time. It seems like past, present, future. So it's like this. Past, present, future stuff. But the songwriters know it goes way, way out, right? So we have, for instance, we have the present. But what happened 5 minutes ago? What happened an hour ago? What happened yesterday? What happened 2 weeks ago? And we can go all the way back to what happened when we were little and our parents were raising us. So we look at the past not as a simple term, but as this huge resource, giant resource, a treasure trove, if you will, of information, right? Unbelievable. And the same thing goes with the future. What is it going to be like 5 minutes from now after the song is done? Again, an hour. A year later, what will it be like on my deathbed? So these are all little bits and pieces that we can pull into the song if we find it, working with our theme. So time is fantastic for stretching out a lyric, like when you find yourself stuck. You can always go to the time element. Like the song, yeah, soon enough, this will all be a memory. That's right. Yeah. We got Footlong, Aphid joining the group. Big Mike is in the house. What's up? Hey, I'm here, and I'm glad that you're there. I hope you're what's going on here today. Okay, so time, P-I-V-O-T-S. S is another really big one, okay? That is the senses. Come to your senses. When we're writing physical writing, we love those senses. Hearing, seeing. Well, obviously, seeing is the one that we use the most. We have a tendency to use our eyes when we talk about, a story and we're writing. But don't forget, there's 4 others that we need to use and that are at our disposal. We can smell Mama cooking in the kitchen. We can taste. We can feel. We can hear. And we can see. I think that covered them all. Let's see. Let me write them down. Hear, see, because if I don't write them, I'll hear, see, touch, taste, and smell. I think that's it. Yeah. And then you also have your state of being. You guys heard of that? Like, I'm sleepy, or I'm really wide awake, stuff like that, right? Yeah, good. All right. There we go. Make sure I'm back in there. Okay, great. Yes. Okay. So those are the physical elements. Now let's dive into characters. All right. What do we have? We have, it's pretty obvious. We have first person, second person, and third person. Right. And along with those, we have the plural of those. So we have we, y'all, and then in the South we also have all y'all. And then we also have they, right? So we've got 6 different ways that we can start our songs. And so I always ask my students, which of these 3, me, you, and he, she, which of these 3 is the most popular? Does anybody want to type an answer? Because I know we got some people here. Yes, the answer is, somebody asked me, did I used to be in a band? And the answer is yes. I was in many bands, all right? I used to live in San Francisco during the late 60s. Oh, really? Yeah, it was just like you thought. It was exactly like you thought. I was ripped from the moment I got up till the moment I went to bed for 5 years. Oops. But aside from that, I was in bands. I formed a band called Driver, and I was also in a band called Fat Max and the Casuals, which played every Friday night down at the Motherlode in the marina. Much fun. We did all copy songs. It was great. Then I moved to Texas, and I was in a band called Man Mountain and the Green Slime Boys, right? Can you believe that? And then after that, I formed my own band called Rick Casual and the Kitchen Band. All right? All right. And those are all the bands I've been in. So, Footlong, I don't know. Maybe you had heard me. Mr. 2, me. Okay, Mr. 2, thank you. Yep. Okay, I'm just reading my little messages here. Make sure we're good. Okay, we're good. So that's the answer to your question. I don't know if maybe one of you guys actually saw my band. I don't know. You'd have to be kind of old like me. At any rate, the answer to the question, which is the most powerful person, first, second, or third, is me. I. So when you sing about me, like I did this, I did that, it forces the listener to actually be in the song, right? They're following you, the singer, as if they're you. And of course, the other most popular is you. So most songs are me and you, all right? Just turn on the radio. And how many songs are about me and you? Pretty much all of them, right? So, because let me explain. Because it is the most intimate. Me and you forces the listener to be in the song. It's the most intimate. So people feel more connected to the singer when they're in the first person, speaking to the second person, right? So why even bother with the third person? Why even write songs in he and she and they? Why bother? And the answer to that is we want to be able to write all our songs, right? So what if you have a song about like a robber robbing a bank? That's something you might want to write about. To say you woke up and you read in the local paper that somebody had robbed a bank. And you go, oh man, I'd love to write a song about robbing a bank. That'd be great. Well, but maybe you don't want to be the robber robbing the bank, right? So there enters this thing that we call the star factor, right? The star factor simply means that in the commercial world, we want the singer up on stage. We want them to be a star. We want them to be admired and respected and looked up to, right? So if this wonderful singer is also robbing banks, that may make the star look bad, right? So what's the easiest way? What's the easiest way to sing about a robber? He and she, right? He walked in. She put her hands in the air. He took all the money and grabbed the girl, took off in a car. The girl ended up falling in love with him. They ended up being partners, and now the two of them are robbing banks together. Bonnie and Clyde. End scene. Yeah. So you see the star, the singer's not affected by that at all. He and she, the third person, creates an invisible wall of protection for the singer. So that's why we love he and she, because now we can sing about controversial topics, right? All we want to. We just use he and she, right? There's a great song called "The Road Goes On Forever and the Party Never Ends." It's a fantastic song, and it's he and she. At least I'm pretty sure it is. Let me check. I'm going to go check that right now to see if, in fact, I'm right. Because I think I have that song. And I'll be back in just a minute. Let's see. There it is. The road goes on forever. Great. All right. Watch this. I'm going to open it, and I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to paste it in to our document here. I'm going to put it down at the end. There we go. And now you'll be able to see that. That'll be great. Wonderful. We'll save that. Now I'll come back to... Okay, there we are. Hi. Yeah, so we have this... let me erase this one here and make sure we're okay. Yeah, let's see. I want to go back to that. Go back to that. There we are. Good. Okay, and then we're going to put the windows up there. Okay, good. Good. All right. So that's why we use he and she, okay? Let's open up. I've got this thing here that we're going to open up, Let me make sure I can do it here. We're going to go to number 3, and then we're going to, oh, there it is. Okay, good. Now it's flickering, so we're going to hit that. And I think that stops it flickering. Yeah, good. Okay, now let's go down here, and let's move this. Oh, I see, we're going to need to have more space, aren't we? Okay, let me see. Let me put another page on there. Go to the bottom here, and I'll just do this. We'll do return like that, and let's see if we can get that in there. Go back to this. All right. I don't know if you can read that. Is it? We're going to go back to characters. So I hope it stops flickering. Here we go. And maybe we can make this just a little bit bigger. Let's see. Does that move it? Yes. Can you guys read that? Is that possible to read that? I don't know why those funny things are up there. Let me see if I can get rid of those. I don't know why those funny little things are in there. Oh well, you know what? I'll have to deal with that another day. We'll just have to deal with that. Can you read this? It's a bit blurry. Yeah, I agree. I was wondering why it's so blurry, because it's not blurry when I open it. It says Sherry was a waitress at the only joint in town. There it goes flickering again. Come on, stop flickering. Hopefully that'll stop it. Come on. So it introduces Sherry in the first verse, and then it introduces Sonny. Sonny was a loner, and then Sonny. So Sonny picks up this girl, and then they jump into his pickup, and Sonny and she jammed it down in gear. Sonny looked at Sherry and said, "Let's get out of here." And the stars were high above them, and the moon was in the east. The sun was setting on them when they reached Miami Beach. They got a hotel by the water, and then in the next verse, they soon ran out of money, and this is where it gets a little tricky. Here we go. See, we moved it up. Yeah. They soon ran out of money, but Sonny knew a man who knew some Cuban refugees that dealt with contraband. So Sonny met the Cubans in the house just off the route. Again, it's fluttering like crazy. I wish it would stop fluttering. So at any rate, what happens is they end up robbing a convenience store, and he gets caught, but in the end he doesn't mention her, and so she rides off into the sunset in a Mercedes with all the money, and so just listen to that song. It's a fantastic song. Let's go to the top of this. Okay, here's this is a song called "Somewhere on the Beach." I bet you think I'm sitting at home. I bet you think let me ask you guys, is it flickering on your screen, or is it just my screen that's flickering? It's a bit blurry, right? See, now it's just going blink, 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 blink. Is it doing that with you? Or is it just me? Because what I can do is I can print these lyrics out and that way I can read them to you. This was an experiment today to see if I could use these things, but I can see right now it's kind of tricky to use these examples. It is flickering. Okay. Yeah, okay. I'm sorry, that's really annoying. I apologize. I can read them this way. If I can make them just a little bit bigger. But if I do, I'll mess things up. I wonder how I should do this. Maybe I should go ahead and print these. Let me go ahead and print these out. It won't take but a minute. And while they're printing, I can because they're so small on the screen that there's no way I can see them. I can't quite read them. I was hoping that in your screen these things would be bigger. Here they come. There are some things. There are some other things that we can talk about as far as first, second, and third person. There's a style that's called, well, the second person, for instance. Let's talk about that for a minute. We have the singular and the plural, right? So that we have you, like you and me, the singular. We have plural, like I'm going to sing to everybody in the audience. And then there's this other one that's really cool that I call the collective singular second person. That's like, and the way you get into that is you say, you know, when you blank, 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 and blank, 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 blank. That is like you're talking to one person, but that one person is generic. It could be anyone, but it has the sense, it has the intimate sense of you're talking to one person, right? And I have a real good example here. As soon as this gets through printing, we will get to that. This song is obviously you and me, right? I bet you think this. I bet you think that. Oh wow, still going. We're on the third one. Okay, we're getting down to where there's only a couple more left. Okay. I wish we could scroll while we're on the screen, but unfortunately we can't. I have to keep going back and forth, and my screen's just not big enough. I can move this over here, and then I can scroll it, and I can see it going. Okay, we can do that. Now, while I'm doing this, I won't be able to read. I won't be able to read the comments unless I just forget about me and just do all and do you. So let me try that. Let me get the chat in here. Okay, so I'm seeing the chat, and I'm seeing. Okay, this will probably work. I can watch the chat. Okay, and I can show you these lyrics. All right, and I can move them. Oh, that's nice. Okay, good. So this is one of those. This is when I love this song because it says, you know, I bet you think that that I'm sitting home. Bet you think I'm all alone. Bet you think I'm missing you and all this. But in fact, he says, hell no. I went wheels up on a runway, and that ticket was a long way. I'm somewhere on a beach sipping something strong, Yeah, let me get these things. That way I can see them more clearly. Yeah. Here we go. Yeah. So this is a you and me song that has a nice little turn in it. So you think I'm doing this, but actually I'm doing this, right? So that's a me and you song. And it actually has, if you'll notice, it has a third person. It has she in it also. And so now he's talking to his ex-girlfriend. He just became ex-girlfriend, and he's saying, "Yeah, I'm on a beach and I've got this girl, and she's looking really good. She's looking naughty, and she's got me like you never got me." So he's kind of insulting her in a way, right? And then he talk about, "I heard you call the boys," right? And we're gonna move this. Let me see. We gotta be able to move this. And oh yeah, that's how we're doing it. Right. Okay, good. Okay, there we go. Yeah. You calling the boys. Get back to over here. There we are. Hi, I see a Mrs. OEF5. Thanks for joining in. Glad to have you on board. Says, I heard you call my boys, heard you call my folks. They said you drove by my house real slow. You can check any spot, roll down every road, but girl, you ain't even close. And then it goes back, I'm somewhere on a beach sipping something strong, etc., etc. So this is a real kind of a little bit of an insult to her. Okay, now we've got the song Don't, right? Now, this is an interesting song. Once again, I hope you can see this. But now we're going to, that was a me and you song that had a nice little twist in it. This is me and she, all right? Now, there's a difference in the way this song feels. You may say, well, why wasn't this me and you? All right? And the reason being, one of the reasons is, when I say me and her, you're going to notice as we read this down that the focus of the song is really on the singer, and she's kind of at a distance, right? We're keeping her at a distance. All right, so that's one of the things about me and her, is you can focus, you can really, the song's really about me, and then she's sort of secondary. The second thing you can do, which is really cool, is you can talk about her in poetic ways, right? Because let's say, like if you're saying me and you, right away when you say me and you, it makes the song more in the present moment. We talked about like it becomes more spontaneous. It's hard to say, let's see, let me just see. She says, I met this girl late last year. So you could say, well, I met you late last year. She said, don't you worry if I disappear. And then you say, and you said, don't you worry if I disappear. And I told you I'm not really looking for another mistake. I called an old friend thinking that the trouble would wait. But I jumped right in. A week later returned. Now you see this, like I jumped right in? That's getting a little bit like, it's getting a little symbolic. And so it works much better if I say me and her. Now you're telling the story about her, like I jumped right into this relationship with her, rather than jumping right in with a relationship with you. It just sounds a little bit funny. And it also focuses more on you. When really, what he really wants to do is he just really wants to talk about him and his relationship and how he felt about it. I'm just reading down here. Oh, this is the other thing. You never tell somebody what they already know. Like when you get down here, it says, she told me I was never looking for a friend. Maybe you could swing by my room after around 10. Baby, bring a lemon and a bottle of gin. Well, she already knows that she said that. It's much better that she said, bring this bottle of gin, rather than you said, bring this bottle of gin, because he's, if it was in the you, me and you, the you is thinking, wait a minute, I already know that I did that. But if you say it in she, then you're referring to the scene, and now you can say, she brought a bottle of gin, right? So I hope I made that clear. I'm not, so when you're dealing with me and you, there's certain things you cannot say about me and you. Like, for instance, you say, you know, you drive me crazy when you braid your hair a certain way, or when you comb your hair a certain way. And she says, yeah, I know that already, so why are you telling me that? But if I say, you know, she knows she drives me crazy when she wears her hair in this certain way. Do you see what I'm trying to say? Like, there's things that she knows. If there's things that she already knows, you can't use me and you. If you want to talk about her, it's much better to go me and she. All right? All right, let's move on to the next song. Come on. There we go. There we go. All right. Now this song's called Waiting for the World to Change. All right? Now, this song is we. So now we're dealing with a big crowd. All right? But the crowd is including the singer, which to me is really a good way of being able to talk about, like, like preachy things, if you will, and not being sound, and not to sound like a preacher. All right. So if I say, you are all, you're waiting for the world to change. You keep waiting for the world to change. You all keep waiting for the world to change. It's hard to beat the system when you're standing at a distance. So you keep waiting for the world to change. It's more fun. And John Mayer thought, I'd rather be part of this. I'd rather be, and it takes the pressure off you. If I say, look, I'm one of you guys, right? I'm one of you. So we're all waiting for the world to change. We're all misunderstood. So it's a way to again, be preachy, because look, let's just face facts. We're all little preachers, aren't we? And we're in what I call, we're in the church of me, right? And I want everyone to come to my little church and to listen to my songs. And, I would like to, make the world a better place with my songs. So it's kind of like I'm a preacher. But, when you point the finger at someone and you're saying, don't you do this, don't you do that, people don't like that. They get defensive. So there's ways to get around that, right? To getting around dealing with this preachy thing. And one of them is we. When you put the song in we, Now you can preach, but you're part of the gang. It's not you anymore, it's us, right? So it's the difference between like a minister standing up in front of his congregation and looking down and say, okay, you know you're not supposed to do this. Instead, it's like the Wednesday night meeting where you stand up, you're in the congregation, right? And you're standing up and you're admitting, look, I did this along, we all have a tendency to do this, right? And so everybody's going, yes, I hear you. Amen. Amen. I hear what you're saying. I relate to that. So you see the difference between that? Okay, good. The other ways you can preach and get away with it is the me message. You can say, I am going to do this. I learned not to go to war, for instance. I'm just making up controversial topics like I'm going to turn my gun in, or I'm going to get rid of my gun, or I'm going to stop going to war. So that's the me message, and that's saying, and the me message is pretty brave, and it's funny because I've found that only the bravest people. Only the bravest people, for some reason, only the biggest stars do the me message, like Bruce Springsteen does the me message a lot. And I wonder why more artists don't try the me message, because the me message brings along with it brings along sympathy for the singer. The singer's thinking, oh, wow, you're so brave to put yourself in that position, in that tough position of, trying to learn something. So we have the me message, we have we have he and she, which we've already talked about, and we also have the singular, collective, second person, and we're going to get to that down here. Let's move down here and let's see. That's an interesting song. We can get to that in a minute. Let's get to this one here. Here we go. This song's called The New Kid in Town. It's an Eagles song. And this is a great example of the singular collective, right? It says, there's talk on the street. It sounds so familiar. Great expectation. Everybody's watching you. You see how that's one person, right? But it's really a collective. It's everybody. So suddenly everybody puts themselves in that position, but it's removed. It's not really you. It's this other nondescript person. So you can now, this person can get hurt. This person can do bad things, but it doesn't affect you personally. You see? So there's great expectations. Johnny come lately. You're the new kid in town. Everybody loves you, so don't let them down. You look in her eyes, the music begins to play. Hopeless romantic, here we go again. But after a while, you're looking the other way. Those restless hearts that never mend. Johnny come lately, new kid in town. Will she still love you when you're not around? There's so many things you should have told her, but night after night, you're willing to hold her. Just hold her. Tears on your shoulder. All right. Now, in the last verse here, there's talk on the street. It's there to remind you it doesn't really matter which side you're on. You're walking away, and they're talking behind you. They will never forget you till someone new comes along. Where you been lately? There's a new kid in town. Everybody loves him, you see. So in other words, he's no longer the new kid in town. But you see, that doesn't insult the listener, because you've picked this singular, nondescript guy, right? And that's what I call the collective singular plural. And it's fun to write that. in that way. And the way you get to it is, like I said before, is you know when you are the new kid in town and everybody loves you, but you don't take it seriously and you think you're just top dog and you're so cool. And then you find out, oh, maybe I wasn't so cool after all, that it was a short-lived, stardom. And now you, the singular you, this guy or this gal, now you're out and this other kid is in, right? So that's one way. That's a very cool way, and a one that's not used that much to preach, to say things that the collective don't want to hear, right? Okay. Let's get back to "Baby, I'm Amazed by You." This song is absolutely a wonderful song. It was a big hit for, I believe it was. Let me get my thing back up here so I can read. Okay. Remember we talked about the Census? Well, I happen to know. I actually heard Amy Mayo talk about this song, and she said when they sat down to write this song, they wanted to write a love song, but they wanted to try to get all the senses in this love song, right? So if we look at this, we're going to find every one of the senses in this. So every time our eyes meet, this feeling, so our eyes meet, so there we are looking, this feeling inside me is almost more than I can take. Baby, when you touch me, so we have eyes, we have touch, I can feel how much you love me, and it just blows me away. I've never been this close to anyone or anything. I can hear your thoughts. I can see your dreams. Don't know how you do what you do. I'm so in love with you. It just keeps getting better. I want to spend the rest of my life with you by my side forever and ever. Every little thing you do, baby, I'm amazed by you. Now, the smell of your skin, your kiss, the way you whisper in my ear, right? Baby, you surround me. You touch every place in my heart, right? So you can see they've covered all the bases on this, and that's why I love this song. Yes, it's a love song with me and you, but they managed to pull all the senses in, which I think is absolutely wonderful, and a great technique. So again, don't forget, even in a simple love song, don't forget all the senses, right? Now, in this song, "Sweet Dreams Are Made of These," this is a song that focuses on an object, right? So this is "Sweet Dreams," right? So I'm having my vets that are in my class at Vanderbilt. We've got 2 more weeks left. They are writing a song where they're actually going to be an object, or they're going to turn an object into a person. They call that personifying, like Old Man River, right? Old Man River, he just keeps rolling. So the river becomes human, right? So they're going to write a song where they either talk to a river, they talk about a river, or they're actually going to be, I am the river that flows through Vietnam, I am in the Mekong Delta. I've seen much bloodshed in my day, and I wish peace would come my way so that the river would turn from red to green again. See? So it makes that river so personal when you say, I am the river, right? It just brings that focus in, because that first person, again, and we talked about this earlier, the first person and the second person is very personal, right? And he and she, as we said, is detached, right? Okay? So getting back to our song, this one is about an object. Sweet dreams are made of these. Who am I to disagree? I travel the world in the 7 seas. Everybody's looking for something, right? Some of them want to use you. Some of them want to get used by you. Some of them want to abuse you. Some of them want to be abused. And they go, oh, right? Now let's look at this just a little bit. So we got sweet dreams. Who am I to disagree, right? And then these dreams, sweet dreams, everyone's looking for somebody. So there's everyone. There's that they, right? Some of them want to use you. There's that they again. Some of them want to get used by you. Some of them want to abuse you. Some of them want to be abused. So you have this really wide swath of the population. It really expands the lyric out. It suddenly becomes so inclusive, and you're looking out at the world in this explosive and explorative and new way. You're going, oh yeah, I guess that's true. There are all these different people in society. So that's a wonderful way to use they or them, is you can say they do this, they do that. And by saying that, you're realizing, hey, I'm part of that crowd. So again, without pointing the finger, you're bringing to the listener's attention about all the things the world can do, all the things that people can do, right? So that's why I think this song was so brilliant, is that it talks about, it's using sweet dreams as the device for talking about the world, right? And how strange and wonderful it is, right? And how dreamy it is. There's another thing going on in this song, which I absolutely love. And remember we talked about the 4 voices? We have live conversation. We have inner dialogue, inner conversation. We have reflective. And the last one was oversimplified, right? This song is an oversimplified song. There's so little going on here. There's so few words in the song. And if you'll notice, and I'm sure you have already, the second verse is the same as the first. Isn't that awesome? Isn't that awesome? Now, some of you might be asking, how did they get away with that? Why didn't they write a second verse? I've noticed that when there are these songs, One Direction wrote one too. Nothing can tear me down. Nothing can tear me down. It's something like that. That's either the right title or it's very close to the right title. But the same thing happens there. They do a verse, they do a chorus, bam, right onto the same first verse. And the reason they can get away with it is 2 reasons. The first reason is the music is so magnetic and hypnotic that it just almost masks the lyrics. The melody and the chords are so strong, and the vocal, like Annie Lennox. I mean, come on, are you kidding me? She may be she is definitely one of the greatest female singers of all time. Period. So that's the first reason, is the music and the singer. The second reason is when you're saying this big, huge, massive, conclusive statement, you think, wow, I think I've said everything I need to say. I think I'll just repeat that. It's so emotional. It's so huge. And the music's so great. I guess I'll just repeat the first verse. Talking in Your Sleep by Crystal Gale. he repeats the first verse because it's so emotional. So emotional, right? Same thing with this song. Sweet dreams are made of these. Who am I to disagree? I travel the world in the 7 seas. Everybody's looking for something, right? Isn't that wonderful? So a great example of oversimplified lyric, right? Here's another one. We'll move on very quickly, but I want you to see. I want you so bad. I want you so bad. It's driving me mad. It's driving me mad. And again, it's the singer. I want you. I want you. You know. So we're just constantly being entertained by this song, right? And then finally he goes into a bridge. She's so boom, 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 boom. Heavy! Right? Great song. Very, very simple, right? Now, superstition. This over just a little bit. There we go. Yeah. Drag me down. Nothing can drag me down. Thank you. Thank you for clearing that up. In this song, very superstitious. Writing on the wall. Very superstition. Ladder's about to fall. 30 months. Let me see. I can't quite read it there. Let me see if I can get it to it here. All right, here we go. Very superstitious, writing on the wall, very superstitious, ladder's about to fall. 13 months old baby, broke the looking glass, 7 years of bad luck, the good things in your past. When you believe in things that you don't understand, then you suffer. Superstition ain't the way, right? Very superstition, wash your face and hands. Rid me of the problem. Do all that you can. Keep me in your daydream. Keep me going strong. You don't want to save me. Sad is my song. When you believe in things that you don't understand, then you suffer. Superstition ain't the way, right? Now, he is preaching. He is pointing the finger. This is actually, I wanted to include this because, you know, sometimes you just want to get up on your soapbox and you just want to point the finger and you want to say, look, you people, you're screwing up. You just need to get your act together. And that's what he's saying here. Very superstition, nothing more to say. Very superstition, the devil's on his way. 13-month-old baby broke the looking glass. 7 years of bad luck. Good things in your past, right? And then he also says in the second verse, don't you want to save me? Sad is my song. So he's reaching out to the audience. Yeah, I'm going to have to go in a little while. I got a client coming up, but we're almost done. We can wrap this up. We did the new kid in town. That's good. And so sometimes we want to get on our block. We want to get on our little, our little preachy thing. Let's see, where's my? Oh, there I am. Okay, good. All right. This is a wonderful song. I saw it written. I saw it say, Pink Moon is on its way. And none of you stand so tall, Pink Moon, gonna get you all. It's a pink, 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 pink moon. And then he just repeats the same thing. Again, very big statement, and that's all he does is say that. And he's using an object, again, the pink moon, right? Absolutely brilliant song. Now here's a song that's using an object as a way to move the story forward. He's talking about this night train, right? In this song, this is a song about me and you, but they throw in the device of an object to make the song, to give that song that little extra something of interest. So it says, I've been thinking about you all day, baby, waiting for that sun to go down. Won't you say I pick you up after work? We'll slide over, slip out to the outskirts of town. Got a blanket and a fifth of comfort, a little something to knock off the edge. It's supposed to get a little cold tonight. Looks like I'm going to have to hold you tight. About a mile off the old mill road, that spot nobody knows, park the truck, and we take off running. Hurry, girl, I hear it coming. Got a moon and a million stars, the sounds of steel and old boxcars. The thought of you driving me insane. Come on, girl. Come on, baby. Let's go listen to the night train. Isn't that great? Using that device of the night train, giving him kind of an excuse to go out, and it could be like, maybe it's their first date, and he's made up this excuse like, oh, let's go sit on the bluff and watch the train. We'll have a little Southern comfort. So I love the use of an object there, right? Okay. Now here's an example of why we want to use he and she sometimes, right? Because when we're talking about controversial or sad topics, it's better to do he and she than you and I. And this is a great example of this. This song is called Soon, and it goes like this. It goes, looking back, she thinks about that moment in the sand and what it was like that's on that summer fling. It got so far out of hand, she knew that he was taken, but she gave in anyway. She believed it when she heard him say, okay? And this is great because now he's going to say something in the first and second person. It's very cool. Soon I'll be free to be with you. Soon I'll be telling you know who, the facts of life. I want you to be my wife, and our dreams will come true soon. Christmas finds her, second verse. Christmas finds her, where we are, all alone with no calls to rejoice. So she calls his answer phone just to hear his voice. She knows that it's useless, but she does it anyway, and she knows how he'll answer before she hears him say, soon, I can't talk to you right now. Soon, you'll hear a beep, and you'll know how to play this game. Leave your number and your name, and I promise I'll call you back soon, right? Oh, yeah. But now here's the turn, right? And the way a song turns really well is you're kind of telegraphing. As the song progresses, you're kind of telegraphing that she might actually start learning her lesson, right? And sure enough, as we kind of suspected, someday slowly turns to never. Tears of champagne offer no solution. He'll say soon to her forever, so she makes her New Year's resolution. By the way, did you notice the change of rhyme scheme? Very refreshing. This is the bridge. And I always like to change my rhyme scheme at least one of the three sections. The three sections being verse, chorus, bridge. Or verse, pre-chorus, chorus. Again, we have those count for three sections, so three musical sections. But one of those, at least one of those, I like to try to do a new rhyme scheme, because we know that contrast, along with repetition, along with detail, creates interest, right? Those are the three tools that songwriters have, is contrast, repetition, and unique details. Those three tools, if you do them right and balance them correctly, you will have a really interesting song. And we use those techniques to keep the listener interested, right? So we repeat a little, and then it's time to contrast. And that contrast makes them go, oh, that was awesome. And then you do a little more repeating. And meanwhile, you're giving them some original details that they may not have heard before, right? And you're throwing them just little spatterings of original detail, right? Yeah. And then, so this song is really great because she does say, soon she won't call him anymore. Soon, when he shows up at her door and asks her, when can I be with you again? It'll be her turn to say, soon. All right? And you can see now why it's important for that song to be in he and she, because you don't want to be, I'm feeling this way, I'm feeling, you don't want to be, you don't want to be the one that's cheating with a married man. I mean, if you're a woman, obviously, you just don't want to be that, right? Right. Now I put this song in. Why? Because you can write a song strictly about yourself if you want to write a song about yourself. And that's what this is. This is a song just about me, right? Oh, thought I heard somebody. So it goes, everywhere I hear the sound of marching, charging feet, boy. 'Cause summer's here and the time is right for fighting in the street, boy. But what can a poor boy do except sing in a rock and roll band? 'Cause in this sleepy London town there's just no place for a street fighting man. Hey, I think the time is right for revolution, right? But where I live, the game to play is compromise solution. And what can a poor boy do except sing in a rock and roll band? 'Cause in this sleepy London town, there's no place for a street fighting man, right? So I love that he's talking about himself, but he's observing all this stuff going on around him, right? Brilliant way to get all this social commentary in, but he's talking really about himself and his problem, right? So it's kind of the me message, isn't it? Yeah, we love that. And here we got a little more time. Here's a song that includes a whole bunch of people, right? So these are all a whole lot of people in this family. The song starts, it's Living for the City, Stevie Wonder. A boy is born in Hard Time, Mississippi, surrounded by four walls that ain't so pretty. His parents give him love and affection, keep him strong, moving in the right direction, living just enough for the city, right? So we talk about a boy, and we describe him, right? And he says, surrounded by four walls that ain't so pretty. Hard Time, Mississippi. So this is a hard luck thing. So, again, the third person. But another thing about the third person is you can have many third people, right? You can have he, she, the daughter of he, the son of she, and on and on and on. Here it goes. His father works some days for 14 hours, second verse. And you can bet he barely makes $1. His mother goes to scrub floors for many. You best believe she hardly makes a penny, living just enough for the city. Again, so we're learning all this social commentary through the voices of all these people. His sister's black, but she's sure enough pretty. Her skirt's short, but Lord, her legs are sturdy. To walk to school, she's got to get up early. Her clothes are old, but never are they dirty, living just enough, right? And so with the sister comes the brother. Her brother's smart. He's got more sense than many. His patience long, but soon he won't have any. To find a job is like a haystack needle, because where he lives, they don't use colored people, living just enough for a city, right? Living just enough for the city. Now, what I love about this is it goes on to talk about the brother again. His hair is long, his feet are hard and gritty. He spent his life walking the streets in New York City, so forth. He's tried to vote, but to him there's no solution. But look at this last verse. I love the way he pulls out of the he and she, and he's brave enough to say, I hope you hear inside my voice of sorrow, and that it motivates you to make a better tomorrow. This place is cruel. Nowhere could be much colder. If you don't change the world, it will soon be over. Living just enough. Stop giving just enough for the city. You know, that was a very brave thing for him to do. But, you know, he sort of talks about, there's a message of hope at the end, right? He's saying, come on, people, you can do it. Come on now, smile on your brother. Everybody get together. Try to love one another right now, right? And so this concludes my lecture on the strength of different kinds of people. Like, you can decide to write in me, you can decide to write me and you can decide to write in we, which includes you. You can decide to write in the the second person singular collective, which is, when you are the new kid in town, remember we did that? And then you can write in you all, like this song we just talked about, where he reaches out to everybody and says, hey man, we got to change. You want to step up on that, on that soapbox and just tell people. And then we saw several examples of he and she. So the singer is removed, right, from the situation. And that can be to your advantage sometimes, all right? And also, like we said, when it's he and she, you can talk about her in a more poetic way than you can when you're talking directly to you. You don't want to get poetic suddenly, because when you're talking directly to someone, it should sound very conversational and off the cuff. So you don't want to say, hey babe, the silver skies and the clouds above, reflect your eyes, those eyes that I love. And she's looking at you going, what? Ooh, you've been smoking again, haven't you? You know what I mean? It sounds a little weird. But if I say she, her eyes are like those clouds in the sky, are like this. You see how that, now that I'm detached from her, I can just get as poetic as I want to, because I have the feeling, oh yeah, I stopped and I composed this poem for her, and now I'm telling her, right? You see the difference between her and you? It's kind of cool. At any rate, got to wrap it up. I got a client calling in. Oh, and I wanted to tell you, if any of you guys and gals want to have private song coaching sessions, you can get in touch with me. You can, my email is mysongcoach@gmail.com. Here, I'll write it down here and put it up there. Here we go. Here we go. So we'll just put it up there. Let me see, let me go and where I can see what I'm doing. Otherwise I won't know what I'm doing. Let's move this over to the side. There we are. Here, and let's get rid of that. Let's take that out of there. There we go. Can you read that? mysongcoach@gmail.com. And I'd love to help you with your songwriting personally. I go on a voluntary basis. My fee is strictly voluntary, based on $50 an hour. But I know that there's people out there that are hurting, so any donation would be muchly appreciated. But I'd rather be helping people than not helping people, right? So that's my parting message for you today. And I wish you well, and thank you for supporting CreatiVets. We really appreciate it. I'll slide this over and see if there's one last thing that people want to say to me. Let's see, here we go. Thank you. Oh, well, you're so welcome. Really appreciate it. And we'll talk to you next time. We'll have another topic. And you have a great day as well. All right? All righty.